Wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hate.
Welcome to Truth Forums, a forum to discuss truth in a friendly surrounding like we do at the kitchen table. I am your host, Dr. Tino Smith. I will be leading compelling, relatable, and honest conversations. My guests will range from community leaders, professionals, and real people whose stories will touch and inspire you. Discussions will center around relationships, real stories of personal struggles, and amazing, triumphant, and compelling topics in the news and pop culture, and capture our city's and nation's attention. If you would like to be a guest at the kitchen table, you may call our office at 269-962-5553. You may contact our producer, Kara Bowden. You can email us at kingdombuildersworldwide2@gmail.com. Before I introduce my guest today, I'd like to thank God for my producers, Carl English, great member of Maranatha Church with the great pastor Geraldine T. Richardson, and the great brother Michael Campbell. He's a member of Macedonia Church, the great pastor Troxler. My wife on Facebook Live, camera, Sister Callie, my co-host Doug Jones, and again the executive producer Kara Bolden. Listen, y'all, a change is going to have to come. A vision is to catalyze, energize, and bring things together. I want to share some things that are extremely essential. I always say if we're going to grow, we have to network and do things together. It's time to reawakening the African mind and the African people. It's storytelling time at the kitchen table. I'd like to introduce to you my guests, Sister Gray, Tamia, and Sister Moorhead, Kenja J. Riley Moorhead. Let's give God a praise. All right. We got y'all here. Listen, before we do anything, I'd like to introduce my co-host, the Dr. Deacon Doug Jones here. I'm glad you're with me.
I'm glad to be here.
What we call it? Ed McMahon and Jerry Lewis. No, not Jerry Lewis.
It was what is it? Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson.
Ed McMahon.
Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon. And
So
we
you gotta
have
be
these
Johnny.
two.
I'm Ed, or
No,
am I
I'm Johnny.
You're Ed? Okay.
You're Ed.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, today, y'all, we have. First of all, they have a great program, but it's going to be more than just a program. Just some more positive African American ladies going to share some positive things that I think is going to be very transformational, revelatory, and then I'm going to add in some things, ask questions, and just enjoy the next 50 minutes of this powerful talk show. Again, like us on Facebook Live. Let everybody know we're on the air. First thing I like to do is I like to just have you just tell me something briefly about yourself. Of course, I've already mentioned your name, but just 30 seconds, who you are, blah, 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 and we'll go from there. And see, that wasn't professional, blah, 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 blah. So just get relaxed. We're at the kitchen table. Did you, hold on, you get your drink? Did you get your drink?
Yes, I have.
Okay, we don't have no fruit. Okay. Go ahead, introduce yourself to us.
Oh, yes, my name is Tamia Gray, and I am a native of Battle Creek, Michigan. I am a wife and a mother of 3 children, and I'm just excited to be here on today.
Thank you. That's
yes.
good. All right, sis.
My name is Kenja Riley Moorhead. I'm originally from Albion, Michigan, born and raised in Albion. I am currently a resident of Battle Creek and have been for 5 years and been working with the community with the Haven Rest Ministry.
All right. Now, we have some real powerful things. But before I even go into your program, I've had several of your peers on the show. They mention you, but just because you all are African American ladies, I just want to get your opinion because you have two men that's the host, and I want to hear your honest thought about it. So let me scroll down to that movie, Girls Night Out, and find it. I just want y'all to tell me what y'all thought about it from your perspective. Hold on, let me get it. Y'all know here we go. So I've asked these questions. I've received these questions from a lot of people. Dr. Smith, what is your opinion about the new movie Girls Trip? So, I thought I'd give an honest perspective. Because the HIV, black women leads HIV, I thought that there could have been a lot of promiscuity, that maybe someone like you all that's mature enough, you guys can look at the show and maybe, look beyond it, but the younger teenage group may not do well watching it. What's your thought about it? If you saw the movie, what was your thought about it, honestly?
I have not saw that movie.
Okay, I went to see it, and my opinion is that it was a good movie, good laughs, but every once in a while there was that, well, I don't know, it was a little bit too much, and it made our women, black women, look in a certain way where the world can view us in a negative aspect, a negative view. So.
And again, I'm going to always allow you to ask questions on Facebook Live or even those in the studio. But now you made a very important thought because what you all do, you empower ladies and other people. But you just said that movie put y'all in a bad light. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to even research who was the producer, who was the writer. I'm just curious, but why did that draw us? What was it got you so excited about going to the movie and then you saw that disappointing line? How did that make you feel?
Well, the women that played the roles, we have Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett, those ladies, Tiffany Haddish, she's a comedian, but up-and-coming comedian that a lot of people know who she is now. And so with just seeing those ladies playing in those roles, that's a catcher right there. People's going to see that and say, okay, well, I would like to go see that particular movie. And so when I went to see it, I enjoyed it, I laughed, but, just like I said, it was those times where you had to think back like, well, that's a little bit just going too far, and it has us looking as if we pray and then go and do devious behavior, things that aren't of God, I can say, and but all we have to do is go and pray about it, that
so
type
there's
of
a mixed
thing.
Message.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
And my sister, you haven't seen it yet.
No, but there's definitely a mixed message because I remember seeing those ladies in the movie Set It Off.
Yeah.
A couple of them. And so that made me want to go see it. But at the same time, again, when you're looking at black actors, black actresses, there are some people that won't play those bad roles. They won't play the prostitute. They won't play the indigent. Some actresses just won't go into that role because that's not their character. That's going against who they are. And so I think that at this time, we do need to watch. Somebody's always watching. Right. And we need to make sure that we behave, appropriately in society. But then again, who's to determine what's appropriate behavior?
Okay. All right. We're going to just keep it light for a minute. Kenja, just tell me what you, as a hobby, what's a hobby? Just something you enjoy doing, your hobby.
Listening to music.
Okay.
All genres of music. Turn the radio on, whether it's YouTube, cooking, baking. This weekend I'm baking a rum cake, so. All right. So those are hobbies.
Yes, I love spending time with my family. My leisure time, I love traveling as well, coming up with creative ideas for my kids and I to do creative projects. So that's pretty much me.
So I had a chance to meet you at the office, and you're doing a great job. Your program. Part of the objective is how we can maybe merge and connect, because I think anytime you are trying to empower our people, and I say this all the time, whatever I do, whether television or whatever. When I say our people, it's not that I'm going to discriminate or leave anybody else out. But that's my priority. That's my focus. And that's because for so long, that group of people was never their focus. So, and that's
true.
important. Everybody understand that it's never anything personal. I want to just kind of throw out a couple things. We had a meeting on the show by Teresa Mauney. She's the director of Women's Co-op. So before I even hear about your program, when you hear that there's a women's co-op out there, and she came, Doug, you was on the show, great program, Caucasian lady, awesome ideas, et cetera, et cetera. How would you distinguish what you do from them, or were you aware of them at all prior to you telling me about your story?
Yes, I sure was. I actually interned there when I was in college, going to Siena Heights University. I interned with them, and the reasoning why is because, you know, I have a passion for women. So I went ahead and called them, made the arrangements, and they had me come in, and I would sit underneath her. So I know Teresa very well, and so they had me doing different things, making the phone calls, and, you know, help doing the boutique there. They have a boutique where they give the women different clothing for like interviews and just whatever they need it for. But yeah, I really, you know, love their program. It's kind of like a little bit like my program, but it's not too much all together. It's like with me, I'm empowering the women through life skills programming. I'm teaching them about table etiquette, you know, how to have the self-esteem, have confidence, you know, get out in the world and make a difference. And with them, they help them cross barriers in life. Like maybe if you have an electric bill you need paid, you know, you can go to them for those resources.
Okay. So now tell us about GEMS. GEMS.
Yes.
Tell us about GEMS.
Well, that's an acronym for Girls Empowerment and Mentoring Services.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And we also call the girls GEMS as well, because we want to keep them highly prized and have them think, you know, carry that with themselves. You know, I'm beautiful, I am valuable, I am worthy of being loved. So we call them GEMS just to give that, you know, in their ear so they can say, okay, I am a gem, you know. And so what we do is we empower them through life skills programming. Like just this past Thursday, we had our table etiquette class.
Okay.
And we taught them, you know, the utensils to use when you're sitting, you know, and you might be invited somewhere to a formal function. You know, you need to know, well, what utensil do I use? You know, do I start from the inside, working my way out, or the outside, working my way in? So we just taught them those skills. And we also work in the community. A lot of different events that has happened, you know, in the summer, because we just started this year. So, yes, we just started this year in April. So, and ever since then, it's just like, everything's just been out of my hands. It just blew up. So, but yes, we work in the community. We also have mentors as well. So it's not a one-woman show. I have professional women that's backing me. So I have a total of 9 mentors and a total of 28 girls right now.
Did you come up with that name, GEMS?
Yes,
that's pretty good.
Yes, and tenacious,
like
because we want them to think, you know, to be tenacious about all endeavors in life. You know, if you want something, you know, be tenacious about it. You know, go after it, go get that. And so that's where Tenacious GEMS come from.
Kendra, what role do you play with this?
I'm a mentor, but prior to becoming a mentor, Tamia was my intern. And then I was interning at Women's Co-op just shortly before she did as well.
Okay, so let's do this. Let me throw out some thoughts. And then we're going to go more into your program. And before I even say more into your program, this is something you started?
Yes.
Your vision, your idea? Oh, that's awesome. Well, you just had a big bright light, something?
Well, God gave me the vision back in 2012. I've always had a passion for young women. When I was at the age of 12, I had a group for my cousins. It was called the Big Girls Club. And so I was the oldest girl cousin. So I would have them, you know, we would do different things. And so God brought all of that back to me in 2012. He said, I want you to go back to school, get your degree, you know, and it just happened that same year I went back to school at Siena Heights University. That was the same year they just introduced that new program, and it was called Community Services with a focus in family relations. So I went ahead and obtained my degree, and from then on, you know, it's just been me mentoring, you know, young ladies. So
I have a daughter. She's 24 years old, just finished law school. And let's say I heard about your program. As a father, these are going to be some of my things I'm going to share with you with some statistics. And I want to see how you two will respond. And my co-host, get involved in there whenever you want to, and my guests also. And I noticed you never said a race, so this for all women.
It is for all
and that's
women,
beautiful.
so-
That's beautiful. But these are African American questions, okay?
Yes, that's
So
fine.
African American girls suffer from the higher rate of sexual violence
Okay.
and intimate partner violence than their white female peers. High rates of sexual harassment in school, and they are most vulnerable to sex trafficking in America. I asked that same question to the author, I think, which is one of your mentors, not mentors, but one of your guests. She was on my show about 2 weeks ago. She just wrote a book out. Yes.
Yes, yes.
What you think about that? About African American girls suffer from a higher rate of sexual violence than Caucasian girls? And if that's the case, why? Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the self-esteem.
Okay.
And our environment and where we come from, and it's unfortunate, but I believe that's stemming from all of those aspects. And so, with that being said,
you're doing good. You're really doing good. Keep it up.
So I have a mentor that works for Safe Place.
Okay.
And I know that we needed someone like that to back up Tenacious Gems.
Okay.
And so she's a survivor of domestic violence.
Okay.
So we have her, she's mentoring the young girls that feel like they're stuck in relationships and they can't get out of those relationships, or they're not good enough, because there's other types of abuse than just physical abuse.
Right.
We have digital abuse now where, you
Right.
can get on the phone and get all of, your partner's messages or whatever, So I just feel like with having her on board, that's going to take care of some of the issue, that is around here. So.
Because the reason why I bring that up is this, and I know a lot of people seek funds from foundation. I'm more of a private funder, meaning I live by the principle: the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I don't ask for nothing, so can't nobody tell me what to do.
Okay.
All right. So that's the same way with funds. Okay. So there's certain things that I fund myself. Let's say I'm calling you up, and I'm concerned about that in our community, and I want to fund your group. And I never want you to go outside of your dream.
Right.
Always stay in your vision, like Jesus said. He came to do one thing. He didn't allow people to get him off of his circle. So don't make me change what your dreams are. However, sexual abuse is an issue in our community. So if I wanted to say, I want to fund that, how would you and your partner, what would be something you would add to your program to try to eliminate that? I mean, we had a teenager here on there, 2 days? Last week, right? The Bowden girl.
2
Not
weeks
the
ago.
Bowden girl.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And she made the comment that no one cares. And are you safe? She said, anything can happen. And she was serious about that. So how would y'all respond to that? And I know you didn't know I was going to ask those questions, but that's what Facebook Live is all about. And you're like, why are you doing this to me? This is not in my notes.
You want me to answer?
But we're really just trying to talk. We're at the kitchen
got you.
table.
Right.
Because y'all know at home we'll be just talking. Y'all, we'll be rude, we'll be hollering. Be quiet. Mama said, be quiet. That's the chicken cooking. So I just want, let's talk. What can we do? What would you do differently?
I think that's where I kind of come in with Tamia. Like I'm her go-to person.
Okay.
If she needs some information or some resources, because I've been working with mental health, sexual assault, drugs, all those areas. Basically, we have developed a few classes where we've invited some African American women that are counselors or therapists to come on board and to talk about, certain topics that are environmental stressors, whether they're at home or at work or at school or whatever it is. I've given her names, emails, addresses, and she's connected with those people to sit down and talk about how they could become a mentor and also become a part of our forums.
Okay.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I see a lot of kids nowadays. It seems like a lot of the young people try to fit in. Nobody wants to stand out and be a leader. They kind of fall in line with the group.
Right.
Whether it's because they don't want to be harassed at school or bullied because they don't fit in. And I know not every young person has that mentality. I mean, it's in them to be a leader. Do you find it hard to get them to realize and understand that they need to step out and be out front?
Oh, yeah.
Versus just hanging out with a group just because it's cool or because this is what everybody else is doing. I mean, do you see a lot of that?
I haven't seen it. I remember we did vision boards, and immediately the girls went right in. They were like, "Well, I like this and I like that, and this is me, you know, and red is my color because it's strong, it's bold." So I think each individual, they're able to identify their uniqueness, and we're there to support that.
Are these young ladies from the Battle Creek area?
Yes, they are, and there's just a few that's from out of town too.
Okay.
Like we had one, she moved to Albion, and then we had another girl that moved to Grand Rapids. So they came all the way back for, I think it was 2 events that we had. So that's, you know.
So as a funder, and the foundation, I'm for sure they said the same thing. As a funder, I would say this to you. Okay, you just got started. We want to put this in your dream or your vision. How will we measure the success? Because that's the key. So there's a young lady, you start from what, 7 to, what age did you say you start from?
12 to 25.
Okay, so let's say I give you a 14-year-old.
Okay.
So at 15, after 12 months, what's the measurements? What is it that you're going to give me that she didn't have prior to going to your program? What would be the measurement? I mean, I know this is tough, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. How are we going to measure? Thank you. Well, how are we going to measure the success of my girl?
Well, first of all, you have to define what success is.
Correct.
In your eyes.
Okay.
So you would have to set some type of goals or
She's
guidelines.
self-esteem issues. She's got self-esteem issues. She's a foster child.
Okay.
Never met her father, and she had 3 foster parents already.
Okay.
And I just made up that scenario.
Right.
Okay.
Not a real person.
Right.
I'm for sure they're out there for real. And she just had low self-esteem to the degree that she allows the wrong type of relationship with boys because she don't feel love.
Okay. Well, we also have we conducted a survey as well. So when the girl joins, she goes and do a youth questionnaire. So we need to see where are you starting at, so we can meet you there.
Okay.
And so they go and they do those surveys, and so as we also give the parents a survey as well to see how are they interacting with their children.
Okay. That's good.
We would also be able to, as mentors, gauge, their progress, maybe write case notes. So it does have a bit of a case management piece to it. Once we start really divulging, getting into it, we are going to be working with the girls to make sure everyone's in school. We're going to be setting guidelines and having some boundaries so that we can help try and inform what those measurements would be.
Awesome. So, if there's any gems out there that's on Facebook and you listen to your director and one of your mentors, say something. Give us say something about the program. Give us your feedback so we can go forward. There's a program, and when I met you a while back, I was going to present that to you. I'm reading it right now. It's called Black Girls Code. It's a science, technology, engineering program. Because of the fact that, that movie came out, 3 years ago? Yeah, The Hidden Figures. Okay. So I actually read that book, and I did it because I want to be conscious of young African American ladies and women, period, right? So for me to know more, and I had no idea the engineering history they had. I had no idea. Instead of me watching the movie, I actually saw the book. So then I got inspired to say, well, how can we get a lot more of our young women in engineering programs? And that was one of the passions I had, where I was going to present that to your organization, where we would try to fund the program just to get more of our young ladies in engineering, because that's powerful stuff. And they also make good money too, by the way.
That kind of reminds me of when I was growing up in Albion and we did MSU Extension, 4-H, and Junior Achievement. Yep. We connected with the colleges through Harry Bonner, Sr., out of Albion. Okay. And so he would place us in, different groups. We would go and we would do tours of the school, which is what we are planning. Awesome. We've already connected with the diversity department at KCC and we did an outing at a camp. So we are trying to connect the girls with resources so that they can further their education or see what type of a career outlook they would have in the future.
Okay. So tell me now, don't get too transparent, but tell me about you. Tell me who you are, and then I want you to tell me about who you are. You told me you're married. I got that part. But something had to birth this dream.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing just comes. It was birthing.
Right.
And then you continue on. Let's go to where we are. And I'm not going to do no therapy or no therapist session. So we don't need any tissue here. I just want to know about you.
Okay. Well, I've been married. It'll be 10 years this year.
Okay.
And so
That's good. That's good.
Congratulations.
Nowadays, marriage not even mentioned, so that's a great thing.
Right.
To go 10 years, you did something. I'm on 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm on 30. But to go 10 is amazing.
Yeah, right.
My parents doing 46.
46, all right. So go ahead. So it's 10 years.
Yes, and so
His name, gotta give him a shout out.
yes, Darrell Gray.
Darrell Gray. Darrell.
Like you mean it.
Darrell Gray. How are you, man? Hey, thanks for letting your wife be on the show, Darrell. I'm for sure you're watching us. Go ahead.
And so, just growing up, and everything, I was a child that had low self-esteem in the beginning stages. I dealt with different things, with peer pressure at school, and so.
Now, this is all Battle Creek?
Yes, this is all Battle Creek. I'm from Battle Creek. No,
Lincoln,
no, I went
NJ,
to Roosevelt, Urbandale. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And so,
I'm sorry.
Northwestern, WK.
WK.
Oh.
Okay.
Battle
Good
Creek
job.
Central.
You
wow.
good. WK, you was a comment. You was a comment.
Yes,
Okay.
comment.
Sorry about the elementary. Keep going.
And so, it was just near and dear to my heart, as I became of age, and just thinking about, where I come from and my background, my family life. I was raised with both parents in the church, heavy in the church, and so just knowing that I was brought up that way, and to have that low self-esteem, I felt like I could help someone else out, because once I started to see who I was and get my voice back, I said, okay, well, I know there's somebody else that's dealing with the same thing I've dealt with.
So let's stop, because I'm going to go there.
Okay.
So you had the traditional situation.
Yes, the
that a lot of us
traditional.
don't have.
Yes.
You had the mom and the dad, but still had low self-esteem.
Yes, I dealt
Okay,
with it.
let's talk about that.
Okay.
What did somebody pick on you when you were a child?
Oh, yeah.
What
Kids
happened?
always, yeah. Kids were cruel, okay?
And did you run and tell dad?
Oh, yeah, I told everyone, everyone in my family.
They didn't say prayer about it, did they?
No, they was getting ready to go up there. They were like, we meet you at 3 o'clock.
Okay. I mean, nothing wrong with prayer about it. I support the prayer, but
Well, that too.
I thought we could do something else. Okay.
Cousins and everybody are like, meet me outside 3 o'clock, this and that. But yeah, so I just dealt with the whole thing, the bullying at, when I was like in 3rd grade and things like that. So just going through that, it did a wear and tear on me, and I had to grow out of that. I had to, God put me in different situations that took me out of what I was in, my box. I had a box that was, around me, and I was just felt inadequate in certain situations. I just felt like I couldn't achieve things, or, I couldn't make it, or just different things of that nature. And my parents, they always pushed me and, put those good morals in me and, always uplift me. But it was just something that was just like, okay, I have to get it for myself. So as I became of age, I had to get a voice for myself. And I did that. God took me through those obstacles, and I got through them. And then even when I got married, it was things I had to, learn all over again. I'm like, okay, because, marriage will bring out what you think you think you got together, and then you get married, and there's different things that, come out that you need to, fix for with yourself.
So before I go to Miss Moorhead, I got to go back to this 3rd grade, 2nd grade, whenever.
Okay.
Somewhere for my audience and for my viewing audience, and those who are going to ask the question, well, how did you overcome it? We got a mom and a dad, church family, siblings.
Yes,
one sister, middle income maybe. Okay. But now I got some insecurities.
Right.
Now there's something that we learned we call it arrested in development. And like I said, we don't have to go there at all. But I would like to ask, when you talk to other young ladies and they want to ask, Miss Gray, how did you overcome it? Sometimes to overcome something, we need to identify what happened.
Right.
Do you even know what it was? Was it really the bullying? You a very nice young lady, very nice looking young lady, African American queen. What was it? Can you remember that? Can you remember that one thing that happened? You were in school and they stole your Twinkie?
I know what it was.
I was overweight too growing up. So
Okay, you're overweight. Okay, well, at least you're telling me something. Okay, come on, talk to me.
Overweight.
Okay, and you had one of the bad little boys that made fun of you.
Yes, all the time. The time.
And you know what?
I never knew that.
I have to apologize for all the young ladies, because I was one of them kids on the school bus.
Okay.
And if that young, she was kind of little big girl, yeah.
Okay. Maurice was probably with you, wasn't he?
Maurice, I was that kid. Not knowing psychology was going to be my background, not knowing how what you do can affect somebody,
Right.
which is huge.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but I'm going to come back on you. Tell me more about you and why is it such a passion now that you joining in because I can feel y'all energy. I know y'all really care. And what's your story? Tell me about, Albie. Tell me your story.
Well, I became more passionate about working with women and young women when I started working at the Haven in 2013. And Tamia and I met for the very first time.
Now, the Haven means what? I know about it, but for my audience,
at the Inasmuch House. The Haven Rest Ministry, their shelter.
It's for the women that have no place to go.
Yes, homeless women.
Right, because a lot of folks don't know what it means.
Single women.
Women
with children.
Women with children.
Also, a husband and a wife can actually come and stay at the Inasmuch House.
It's called Inasmuch.
Yes.
For free.
Yes. But you do have to, you have obligations. And
you worked there or you were once a client?
I most recently resigned in August of this year.
Okay.
But I was there with them through some hardships with some people here in the community for 4.5 years.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Right. Triumphant story.
And then I worked the transitional program, which took people out of the shelter, put them in a 2-year program called the Win Life.
Okay.
And we subsidized their rent, and we helped them remove obstacles. We advocate for services, referrals, transportation, whatever it is they needed. And so those were things that I started teaching to Mia when she first came on board. And we talked about things that we wanted to change in the community, whether it was transportation to jobs, better child care, better access to, services. And as a kid growing up in Albion, it definitely took a village to raise us all. I can remember growing up playing basketball for Harry Bonner, going into his 4-H program, and he was like the thing that kept me grounded, that and sports. I also grew up in a 2-parent family household. It was myself and my brother, but sports, 4-H, and going to Grace Temple Bible study, really, it grounded us. And so those were the things that, started to shape and form our, they were downloading things in us that we were going to need later.
Wow.
And so through my times when I was in school, basketball, high school basketball, junior high basketball, one of our other mentors, Danita Moye. Hey, Danita.
Hey, Danita.
She got to she got to do a rap. With Magic Johnson.
Okay.
We were all up there. We filmed that. It was it was called High on Myself.
Okay.
And so I didn't have any self-esteem issues. My father was a very strong and tall man. He stood 6'10" and still does.
6'10"?
Yeah, 6'10", 280. Sorry, Dad. And so what happened was my dad was a probation officer in the community. So I got to see all the bad little kids act out.
I see.
And my dad was, you better not do that. And then he would drop me off at parties and basketball games. I'll be back in an hour. He was kind of like my PO. Okay. And so he kept me, in line. And there was my mother supporting him. Whatever he said that was what we was going to do. And so I had a really good family life. And then when I get here to Battle Creek, I saw that other families didn't have that support that I had. When my family showed up, it might have been 3 of them, but they showed up 10,000 strong. And so some of our young women don't have that now. Their mothers might be working. They might be a single mom. They might not have any family in the area. So that's where Tamia and I want to be there to fill the gap.
DJ, let me ask you this, because Tamia, you two have you're doing an awesome program. And obviously it's a gift that God gave you both. But there's something that y'all have in common, you three, that I didn't have. And that is the full family. Meaning the mom and the dad. Okay, I was raised single parent with a powerful mother, obviously. You three had the full family. Why has that changed in our society? And how do we bring it back? Or is it just now, is that whole role irrelevant? Now we have parents that's women, men, women raising their own kids. I mean, is that structure even needed nowadays? I want you three you as a host, what you think about it? Is that mom and daddy thing need to be? Because a lot of us have mom and daddies, but our generation, we're not mom and daddy. So what you think?
I think the whole, perspective on, marriage and raising a family together has kind of shifted and changed. Back when my parents were, growing up and when they got married, I mean, there was a big, it was being married and raising a family was a value. That was something you wanted to do. And it wasn't so much about, it was about your career, but more, it's more career-minded people. So I don't know if everybody now, today, has that same value in mind. I think that's what changed a little bit. Has
that impacted our city or
Yes.
our community?
That, mental health, lack of role models, or people, you have good people, but are they helping? So
are you determined to keep your family together?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Then you'll be a second generation.
Right.
And then you're putting that in your children.
Exactly.
Okay. No question from the audience? Just let me know when you have a question. Dorothy Height, she was the president of the National Council of Negro Women. She made a comment. She said, "What makes the great great?" And then she went on and said, "Greatness is not measured by what a man or a woman accomplished, but by the opposition he or she has overcome to reach their goal."
I knew her.
You knew her?
She gave my mom her first job at State Farm, and my mom just retired 2 years ago.
Powerful.
Yeah,
See, you
she's from
connected,
Albion.
Yeah. Who, Dorothy Heights?
Yes.
Okay. So she, that's a very, very profound statement. It's not so much of what we've been through, it's what we've done and how we got out of it. That's what makes us strong.
Right.
I've always seen the African American women strong like that. We got tons of stories about how they raised their children and how they carry them on their back. So we got that, and I see that in you all, and I'm just honored about that. In your program, are you encouraging these young ladies to be individual powerful, or are they being encouraged to get into a family? Is that something that's encouraged, or is it's individual thing? What's your ultimate goal for these young ladies? Do you want them to, nowadays they see marriage as being like, okay, you all are church people. You three are church people, so let me throw out a church thing. Women, obey your husband, for this is the will of God. So when we quote that, look at, see, here, the water's right there. Sister.
Yeah.
Look at, she ready to clear her throat.
Well, that's because I'm divorced.
So now, obviously, I have a interpretation that it doesn't mean what it sounds. It's not saying that my wife walks behind me.
She walks with you.
She walks with me.
Right.
And the reality is, if you treat her like a queen, she shouldn't have a problem, respecting you as a king. Okay, I believe that.
Yeah,
okay.
that's true.
But my daughter's 24, and she watched her parents grow up. And I wasn't pushing no marriage on her at all. I'm like, get your career,
Right.
Get ahead. Is that hurting or helping? I mean, this is a conversation. Are we hurting our young African American queens by telling them, and then they get so powerful, now they can't even relate to these guys?
Right. Okay.
What you
That's
think about that?
interesting, because my dad told me, he said, when you begin to date and you go off to college, he said that's when you're supposed to start searching for that person that has those, they grew up like you, they have the same morals, you have the same download, and you kind of cling on to that, and that's where, I went out and started hanging out with the locals. I wasn't hanging out
You
with...
did.
Yeah, I wasn't hanging
you
out
was
with...
raised by mom and dad,
Yep.
knew Dorothy Heights, had
Yep.
all this good stuff, and
Yep.
you go in the hood and
I
got you
sure
a Franco.
Yes. Oh
See?
my goodness! Yes.
Frank caught you, didn't he?
Yes,
Boy, Frank put
yes.
that thing on, put that word on you, didn't he?
Yes.
He just started messing with your head.
Yes.
Go ahead, sister. Keep going.
And so what happens is, I think that we're downloading some things in them, some qualities and some characteristics that are great.
Okay.
That people would want to be around that person, that builds a good aura, for them. one person's greatness isn't another person,
Correct.
because you might see that girl and she's got something good going on. Maybe she's good at math.
Right.
This person's good at dancing. So each person's going to have their uniqueness. We're just trying to tap into what that is and identify, like you had mentioned before, how they can enhance that, how they can hold on to it, how they can keep that sparkle as they grow.
Okay.
It's interesting that, the question you asked, because my daughter, we had that same conversation. She said, Dad, a guy told me that I was too strong and too aggressive and too outgoing. I said, really? She has her bachelor's degree and she's going to school to get her master's, and she thought she needed to tone it down some.
Okay.
She says, I'm going to have a problem dating because I'm too strong-minded. And I don't know if she's watching, but I hope she doesn't mind me saying
Ashley,
that.
your dad is busting you out.
But she's a beautiful person. She has a big heart, and she's a sweetheart. And that I thought that was interesting that one person told her that, and it really kind of bothered her.
What do you got on that? What do you think about teaching? Should they slow down? Should they tone it down some? Because think about it. If our young ladies get in your program and they go and get their bachelor's, maybe their master's, and then Frankie, he on the corner,
Waiting too.
Frankie gonna feel you're right. He's definitely waiting, but he may feel intimidated.
Right. Yeah.
And now she's lonely, and a woman still want to be loved.
Right.
I don't care what you say. God made a woman to want to be loved.
So one of the things she was doing, she was talking about her future.
Right.
She went way beyond, what normal people probably would think about. She went way beyond like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road, what she wanted to do and what she wanted to be. And I think that was a little scary.
Well, that wasn't her catch. I mean, her right man will come along. You know what I mean? So just be strong. That's all I tell my girls. Don't try to back yourself down because someone else, don't like your light shining. I don't care if it's male, female, whoever it may be. Don't back down because you're shining. No, you're a gem. Go after what you want. No matter, what obstacles throw at you. Go after that. And then you're right. The man is supposed to find the woman anyway. I don't want to throw my biases out there and say, well, this is
You
it's
just
only
did
one
that.
way.
You just did it.
Well, it's
You
not.
just threw it out there, Reverend. You said,
Well,
okay, you good.
it's not just one way. What is good for one person might not just be good for the other
what
person.
you said. I'm
But
messing
I
with
just
you.
want to just let them know.
Yeah.
You just go get what you want.
You
Go
say
get
you
it.
believe in the one that said, "He that findeth a wife
Yeah.
finds a good thing."
Right.
Don't be
Right.
ashamed of what you hold on to. Bias, you got a right to say what you say. This is
Right.
a talk show.
Yeah.
We ain't got to
Right.
agree with you, but say what you feel.
Yes.
Because you may have 70% of folks believe that.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's good to hear. So now we have a gym. Let's say she's 16, doing everything right. Knucklehead pop up and she get pregnant and she start beating herself up. What y'all do? Are you ever expelled from a gym program?
Okay, well, that's good you asked that because
I'm the
we
host.
actually
I
are
ask
working
questions. I'm the host of the questions.
right.
We had talked about expectations. We
Yes,
talked about being in
expectations.
school,
Yes.
like minimum requirements.
Okay.
Attending school.
Good.
Attending so many seminars or forums that we have,
Right.
keeping us up to date on life events,
Awesome.
communication between the parents.
Yes, parent involvement is key. That's key
Okay.
with us. Yeah.
But if they don't have parents, the foster parents okay?
Yes.
Guardian.
Yes,
Yeah, whoever
guardians.
got guardian
Yes.
of.
Whoever it may be.
Now, besides what we talked about, do you have any other funders out there? Have you tapped into big organizations yet?
As of right now, we've been all of our funding has been, in-kind donations,
Okay.
donations, and people just giving us things, So we haven't actually had any big grants written yet, but
Okay.
we're working on that as we speak. So.
And you've been through the churches? They know about
The
what church y'all attend?
I
or what
attend
church you
New
attend?
Harvest Christian Center.
Okay, and that's Pastor
Ivan Lee
Yes,
and
sir.
Pastor Tina Lee.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Okay,
Hi.
and you're in Albion.
No, I'm here in Battle Creek.
Okay.
I have I was previously attending Maranatha,
Okay.
but I am looking for a new church home.
All right,
I was
y'all.
looking at your church in New Harvest as well.
Oh, okay. Well, keep on looking.
Oh, wow.
No, I said keep on looking until you stop.
Okay.
I want you to
Right.
look, and then you stop. You go.
Well, there were some people that
you go where
attend
you
your
think.
church that inspired me.
No, you go what's best for you. And I'm a firm believer, being back in town, I'm a firm believer that everybody has a different knack. And if all of us leaders know that, I may can help you to this spot, and then he can take over or she can take over. But definitely come and check us out. But see, I can't promote my show on my show.
That's okay.
Kingdom Builders Worldwide. Okay, let's continue on. So here we go. Question. Nothing can enslave an idea. An idea proceeds from an inner realm, which is freedom itself. Someone made that statement. And I would love every one of your gems to know this person. Then this person go on and said, she started her work by filling her mind with self-directed success affirmation. Y'all doing that. Though black, though uneducated, shackled by poverty, she desperately wanted to improve the lives of black children, which is what y'all doing. She was one of 17 children born to slave parents in a tiny cabin on the cotton field, Maryville, South Carolina. When she was 11 years old, a board of mission of a Presbyterian church opened a school near her hometown. She was the first to attend. But that school wouldn't allow her to start a school in Africa years later. Eventually, she started her own school, and we're talking about Mary McLeod Bethune, which is the school in Florida. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. I want you to have young ladies that one day may be a founder of a school that can change lives. We gave a little small check to the other organization, and we're going to give one to your organization, because you don't have to ever go to our church to be doing great things, because it's about the body. Right. And it's about helping people, targeting people. So I thank you for that. We're not done yet with the broadcast, but now go a little further. And when I'm looking at some of these statistics, there's no daddies. So if daddy's not in the house, how is daddy, how are those girls being wounded? I mean, how they're being healed? If there's no daddy and you're female, it's all women.
That's true.
So now you got this girl coming to your program. She's 12 years old. She never seen her daddy. Daddy's on the street. Rico. I don't say Rico because that's Franco. And now she's here, she's 12 years old, but she got daddy issues. And y'all all women that may have daddy issues.
Right.
What we do? I mean, can men come in and be a part of the gyms?
Eventually that is.
Eventually?
Yes.
But not yet.
Well, we have conferences, annual conferences that we're going to host every year.
Okay.
And there's 3 different ones. It's GEMS Conference, the Rare Conference, and I Meet Wed Conference.
Okay.
And for those particular conferences, I would like to get male, speakers that can come and, empower the women and give their feedback on how they feel about, African American women and the things that we go through and encourage them. So that is open for, later on down the road.
Now, back to this question we asked a while back, angry black women. What y'all think about that? Is that Tyler Perry got credit for it. He had movies out that portrayed. I have a daughter, so I don't want my daughter to be angry. I don't want my wife to be angry. I don't want my mom to be angry. I don't want my sister to be angry. So I was never a fond of this angry black women thing. But what's your take about it? What's your honest take about it? Honestly. I'm gonna come over here to Albion first.
The angry black woman thing came out of how we respond. How we respond to, negative situations or being broken. I think we need to turn how we respond into something more positive. In some of those movies, there were clothes being burned and, things being torn up and taken away. Right? That too. That's where it started.
I remember Exhale.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, I'm just saying.
Do they really do that now? In real life?
I don't know.
I know I'm naive. I'm naive. Anybody?
He's shaking.
Anybody on Facebook ever burnt? Oh, you have?
He said, yeah.
I got a brother that
said his stuff
been burnt down. Okay.
Houses.
Wow. I mean, I've heard, as a female, I've heard stories. And I may have even been present during some of those things when they were happening.
You may have been.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I'm not going to miss anything. But I may have been present. And now when I became a wife or as a mother, those things are not becoming of a woman. Okay. And so what happens is I just think that the angry woman thing comes out of seeing somebody's reaction, how they react to something. And we all need to learn how to react. And how we react to things will actually determine who we are.
Okay. I got about 10 minutes left on the show, so we would get. See, you said well we did. What you talk about the angry black woman? What you think about that?
I agree with Kendra, what she said. It's how we respond to different things. Different situations, can just make us fly off the handle, go from 0 to 100. And when we do that, we're seen as, untamed. Like, what are you doing? So I do think that, like she said, we need to learn how to respond, have different comebacks and everything. So,
well, I wanted to, because I've been asked 3 different times about the angry black woman thing, I want to add this to black men and black women about anger or other emotions you don't quite know what to do with. That's basically what's going on. Yeah. Anger or any other kind of emotional energy can be used to build or destroy. Right. So my point is, I don't have a problem with us being angry. Just make sure we're using it to build. Become angry at what's going on with life, so you do something about it. It can make you small or it can make you great. So I want to encourage everyone to use the kind of anger, frustration, disappointments, or stress in any way that surges you to height you never imagined. Let that be your angry. Yeah. The other stuff about the entertainment, making fun of a group of people, that's one thing. Let's have enough. The last thing you want to do is let energy depress you.
Right, that's true.
Being sad, being angry, mad, without engaging any construction action. That's what we don't want to have. So before I do my closure, listen, give a word of wisdom, love, advice to the people that's watching us, to those on Facebook Live. Again, state your name real clearly, how we can contact you. We can go on your Facebook page, how we can donate if need be. Last time I talked to you, I asked you about a Facebook page, a website, so we can definitely get you that support. So tell us something, say something real quickly to the audience before we do our closing, and then you do the same thing, and then my host, and then I'm going to close.
My name is Tamia Gray, and I am the CEO and founder of Tenacious Gems. I just want to encourage you today to just be empowered from the inside, working its way out. Things may come your way, you might get you down, but just always remember that being beautiful comes from the inside. So you can check us out on our Facebook page under Tenacious Gems. You can email us if you have anyone that you can think of that may be interested in our program at tenaciousgems@gmail.com. We meet every month. And our days vary, but if you contact me at 269-601-6240, you can get more information that way.
Awesome. What's this?
Okay. I'm Kendra Riley Moorhead, and I'm a mentor with the Tenacious Gems program. I can be reached also through Tamia's website. I'm not going to give out my personal phone number. However, I feel that this is an organization that will eventually grow countywide. Tamia and I have talked about reaching out to other programs. We're going to be meeting with Albion on the 29th and trying to see if we can get some transportation set up for some girls over there. We welcome women of all walks of life. Just continue to keep shining and don't let anyone dim your star.
Awesome. My co-host.
No, I didn't know about Tenacious Gems, and I believe if there was anybody out there in Facebook land that didn't know about it, now you do. And I think social media is a great way to put that word out there. So I think it's a great thing you're doing, and I would love to see it grow.
Yeah. Thank
you.
Thank you.
Most of us are fully aware that the greatest achievement by black people are often swept under the rug and often forgotten. And we know that one of the first women in the U.S. to ever own a black bank was a woman, black woman. I'm going to have you do the research. I'm not going to tell you who that name is, but those are things I think we all should know because there's a lot of great contribution that we as a people have did. I commend you all for all that you all are doing. I always end my show by recognizing the fact that if you don't know where you are, if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. You should always have a map and a compass. We got to know what's happening. I brought you on the show because I love what you're doing. Even though it's for everybody, it's also for a group of people that I care about so much. And you've been inspired. You've been inspired. You've both been gifted. Your pain, your experience, your struggles have caused you to be able to produce this dream. And we're going to support it the best way we can. We thank God for you. I always acknowledge my ancestors. I acknowledge my father, the late Hugh Daniel Smith Sr., and his parents, my grandparents, Edward West Smith, named after him, and Gussie Smith. And my mom, who's still alive, who I love dearly, my soldier, love her to death, Georgia Howard Perry. Her parents was Leo Del Perry Sr. and Ruby Elizabeth Perry. Always know your connection. Know where you came from. My wife, after 30 years, and the two beautiful children that we have, it's time to talk in our communities. Every home supposed to have a watch and a calendar so we know who we are. You all are doing a wonderful thing. We always end by praying because the link is together. Father, we thank you today for this powerful group of people. These two great women, women of royalty, women of greatness, women of value, women of examples, women of power. These are our queens in our community. Give them favor. Inspire them. When they get low and weak, let them see that man that said, I'm here for you. Not going to degrade you, not going to criticize you, never going to call you out your name, but going to love you to do what you called to do. This is our prayer. Bless the gems and all those involved. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. That's the end of our show. That's the end of our show. I wouldn't made it. Y'all made it? Y'all made it?
Or in poverty. Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. They're the ones who's coming up, and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can.
AccessVision, your voice, your community.